So, what do you suggest? I asked Doma. You know Muzan better than I do. Doma looked into my eyes, his rainbow ones softly glistening back at me. He was deep in thought as he ran a hand through his hair in slight frustration. Keep acting normal. If you go into hiding, he'll know something is up. The way he keeps sending out upper moons to check on you means he knows you're bound to change. So far, it's only been Akaza, right? He asked. Well, I said, being reminded of all my encounters with Kokushibo. One of Doma's eyebrows arose, which made me feel bad that I had kept all of this from him. Kokushibo has come to see me twice already, but he never tried to hurt me, I explained. That's because he's in love with you and jealous of me, Doma said with a point. Yeah, I kind of figured, I responded, laughing at Doma's cuteness. It was rare seeing him all jealous and, well, to be quite honest, I kind of liked it. I don't trust him at all, Yin. I don't know what his intentions are. If he doesn't get his way, he might flip on us. I know that's why I don't tell him everything. He doesn't know, if that's what you're trying to get at, I explained. Good, Doma said. Now, where were we? And, well, days turned into weeks at the cult, and I hadn't seen Kokushibo or Akaza at all, thankfully. I had expected to be captured by now, but maybe Muzan and his sights on another demon who could do the same thing I could. The amount of people at the cult had grown steadily over the weeks as well, making Doma quite powerful. It was unclear to me how many humans he had consumed daily, but the less he attracted attention from Muzan, the better. Doma's past plan was to appraise him in any way possible, and eating more humans was the best way to do that. But since seeing Doma grow stronger, in my head I knew Akaza had to be gaining strength too. And if he came for me again, maybe this time I wouldn't be able to get away. I hadn't consumed a human or blood in almost 6 months, and I could feel my power growing stagnant. What was Kokushibo talking about anyways? How strong could I possibly get? Doma and I had agreed that he'd shut Muzan out for a moment when I first started speaking. If I had something that needed to be kept, Doma would keep him out. If it was something he could hear, he'd allow Muzan to hear, just to make it not suspicious. Doma and I walked through the hallways, my mind lost in these thoughts when I stumbled upon a distant memory. The night Doma gave me his blood. I never thought about asking him more, but maybe it was best I could gain more strength. Sure, I would be consuming human blood second-handedly, but at this point any mortals needed to be set aside. Doma, my dear, I said as I looked at him out of the corner of my eye, breaking the silence of her walk. He looked at me, slightly nodded, giving me the go-ahead to speak. I hope you don't mind me asking, but do you think I can have more of your blood? I said quietly, since that would be an odd question to ask for a human. Doma slowed down a bit, and instantly I was worried I had upset him. When his lips curled up into a devilish smile, I knew I had thought wrong. Perfect, now I can be stronger, I thought to myself. I had yet to get the nerve to ask something about turning back into humans because I was genuinely scared of the answer. Regardless, would he turn human if we avoided it? Later that night, when we scheduled in our room, and Doma reminded me about my request. Open up, pretty girl, he said seductively as he lifted my chin up towards over his... He towered over me as I opened my mouth. He lifted his wrist over my face and slashed his nail against it, not explicitly at once of pain. I could tell he was, turned on. His blood splattered on my face as most of it dripped into my mouth. It would have been human blood. I wouldn't have been disgusted. But since it was my husband, it wasn't so bad. I was just awaiting the reaction that would amount soon, since he had let so much fall into my mouth the first and only time he had given me his blood in such a strong reaction, and it was nearly a drop. Just as his wound healed, I felt immense heat in my stomach, radiating throughout my nerves, shooting through me like painful flames. My legs gave out from intense pain as I felt two arms catch me. It felt as if my skin was turning outside, as if my brain was about to explode. It was too much. He had given too much. My vision spotted as the same whole room shrank, which caused me to close my eyes, hoping it would make it slightly better. Yin, wake up! My heavy eyelids fluttered open as I saw Doma's frantic face instantly calm as he met my eyes. You weren't waking up, Yin. It scared me, he said, his voice trying not to shake as he wiped the excess blood from my face. Energy coursed through my body as I regained my composure, memories flooding back to me from the first time Doma had ever gave me blood. It was a time when he didn't care at all that much about my well-being. A time where I saw him nothing as a son of a bitch. But in that moment, I was wrapped in his arms, and he was the one I cared for the most. We were just desperate and doing anything we could to maintain his life as we grew to love. How do you feel? You weren't saying any... Doma said as I interrupted him, my lips meeting his. He wrapped his arms around me tighter, kissing me back just for a moment longer. When our lips parted, I smiled at him, his eyes softening at the corner as relief flooded him. Thank you for loving me like that, I told him, my heart swelling with all the devotion I had for Doma. He smiled at my comment, his eyes twinkling in the light as they slightly filled with tears. The first time I'd ever seen them do that. It's because of you that I've learned to love like this, darling, he said, confessing to me slightly. My heart fluttered in my chest, his strong feelings yet gentle. A praise never ceased to amaze me or affect me. He grabbed a hold of my hand that was on his chest and held onto it tightly as the rest of our bodies sat in his lap. That's when a tear fell free from his eye. It rolled down, softly tracing his face as it reached his chin. I ignored it, though. As much as I wanted to react, I knew I should just stay quiet and just enjoy the thoughts rather than out loud. I knew deep inside he was scared. There's a million possibilities of what could happen, and not knowing what our life could soon hold was the hardest part. We could only control that what was in our grasp. That was our limit. I knew he was ashamed to cry, ashamed to show any weakness. But seeing that tear escape his eye felt melt my heart. He wasn't hiding his fear anymore, and it helped me see that I wasn't alone.